Thanks for listening to Gossip with Celebrity, brought to you by Celebrity.com. This week we talk about the Royals and Antivaxxers. We end with our weekly feature, the comments of the week. The stories, photos, and tweets we talk about can be found at Celebrity.com/podcast under episode 108. Hi, I'm Katie, the founder and editor of Celebrity.com, and I write as Celebrity.
And I'm Chandra, I'm the head writer for Celebrity, and I write as Kaiser.
So we're going to be off for the next 2 weeks because, we've been on 3 weeks, so we're taking a week off, and then the week after that is Thanksgiving. And we'll be back on December 4th. So this year is almost over.
I know. Isn't that crazy? I was thinking about that. I was like, we should talk about that on the podcast, how this year has flown by.
I don't know what happened to it, but I hope next year is better.
Well, remember during the Trump years, it was like every day felt like a week. Every week felt like 3 months. It was ridiculous.
Especially like lockdown under Trump. At least we have Biden as president and we got vaccinated, so we're not going to die. That's about it, right? And our loved ones are vaccinated, so.
Yeah, that's nice.
So you watched the new Dexter. I saw you put that in the links that you watched the Dexter New Blood, it's called, or something like that.
Yeah, and as I was watching it, I had this moment of, wait a second, when did I stop watching Dexter? I think I stopped when his sister found out what he was. And I was like, this show, I cannot do this show anymore. So I kind of went in blank. I didn't really remember much of it.
Yeah.
And the new series is pretty easy to just pick up. They do enough background and you get the idea of what he is and what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's been in hiding. He lives under an assumed name and he's still very good in the role.
Yeah. You might like that show You on Netflix if you like Dexter. Because it's very much like Dexter, except he doesn't have a good reason to kill. He just gets sick of people or whatever. They do some minor thing.
But he kills women, doesn't he?
Yeah, he kills men too, but mostly women.
Yeah, that's kind of what I liked about Dexter is that he wasn't just a traditional serial killer of women. That, he looked for a reason to kill people. I liked that about him. He mostly kills men. Yeah.
Yeah, and they convince you that there's a good reason to kill her. You're like, okay, that makes sense. You should kill her. She did that thing to you. I get it.
No.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's talk about the royals. So Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan are in New York now. And this week, Meghan did a talk with the New York Times Book Summit with Mellody Hobson and conducted by Andrew Ross Sorkin. And that was really good. I loved it. I just like watching her speak. And she was so well prepared and comfortable. It was really nice to see.
I really liked her outfit, just at a superficial level. I liked that she was wearing all black and she was wearing these really great trousers or pants, whatever. She looked really pretty. That should be her style, is like sleek, minimalist. I wish she had gone more that direction for evening wear as well. But anyway, that's just the superficial stuff. But yeah, I agree. She conducted herself very well during the half-hour Deal Book Summit.
I know she prepared quite a bit, but because she prepared so well, it seemed supernatural. Mm-hmm. And it was really nice to watch. I think that Mellody Hobson is her mentor. The way she kind of talked about it, I think she was. Like, she talked around it. She said that people introduced them and, that she knows her. And I really liked what she said about her company that she's building with Prince Harry, her husband, she called him. And she said her husband's family.
Yeah. She didn't say
the royal
my family. In-laws or anything. She was just my husband's family.
Yeah. And how she talked about, they want to give them the same medical leave that she would want and treat people the way they would want to be treated. And it just was really nice to watch. Like, I am impressed by her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I wanted to play this clip from that where she talks about the appeal. So the Mail on Sunday is appealing the ruling that they violated her copyright by publishing the letter that she sent to her father. So I wanted to play that because she talked about it. And here's that clip.
I do have to ask you one question because it's in the news
Tell
and it's
me.
happening today.
What's happening?
There is the Daily Mail, as you know, in the UK, is appealing this ruling that was in your favor about this letter that they had published that you had sent to your father.
Correct.
And I just wanted to ask you, about the appeal and how you feel about it.
Yeah, well, in terms of the appeal, I won the case, and this issue, frankly, has been going on when I had no children at all. Mellody, I now have 2 children, as you know, so it's an arduous process, but again, it's just me standing up for what's right, which I think is important across the board, be it in this case or in the other things we've been talking about today. At a certain point, no matter how difficult it is, if you know the difference between right and wrong, you must stand up for what's right, and that's what I'm doing.
She's over it. Like, she just...
Yeah, I like the breezy way she handled it. She was like, that's happening over there in Salt Island. Who cares? I won the case. I'm always going to fight for what's right. The appeal has gotten crazy complicated because the case was allowed to get crazy complicated. The case is in itself very simple. It's a very simple copyright issue. And the Mail just keeps on trying to bury her in bullshit. Because
they make money off of doing that. And they can get more stories out of it. So, she said, I have 2 kids now. Basically, it's been so long. But they're trying to smear her in this case. And now they're publishing more details. But they're not as damning as they think they are. They just make the other side, look petty and stupid.
Yeah. And, they don't understand very simple legal issues and, liability issues. The whole thing of, Meghan knew that her father was going to reveal the letter. No, she didn't. She thought he might. She was prepared. She wrote the letter in such a way that she would not be embarrassed if he did leak it.
So they leaked Meghan's emails to Jason Knopf.
Well, Jason Knopf gave the emails to the Mail and to the Mail's lawyers.
So those revealed that she wrote the letter in such a way that if her father leaked it, so it couldn't be excerpted, and that, she kind of anticipated that he might leak it, so she wrote it like that. So she didn't leak it, he did it.
Right. You can set a trap. She didn't push him into it.
Yeah.
It was very elegant what she did. It was, I'm going to write this letter, and it's going to be a totally honest letter about how I really feel. And I'm also going to protect myself with this letter so that if he ever reveals it, first of all, he's going to show that he was lying about me because I did contact him and I sent him this letter.
Yes.
And second of all, he's going to look like the fucking douchebag who can't shut his goddamn mouth.
Because that's what he is. And so is the palace.
Yeah.
They look like asses too. So another thing that Jason Knopf released was that Meghan sort of collaborated with Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand for Finding Freedom. They previously said they, quote, did not collaborate with the authors on the book, nor were they interviewed for it. That's kind of true. They were not interviewed for it. Meghan gave Jason Knopf briefing points, is how they phrased it. And there's some emails that show that she's like, yeah, you can tell them these things about my family and things like that. But it doesn't make her to be a total liar. They kind of fudged it a little bit, but it still was accurate that they did not be interviewed for it.
Yeah, but all of that is true. I think it would have just been easier to be more honest about all of that from the get-go, because it was obvious from reading the book that she contributed.
You could tell.
That she and Harry were both guiding Scobie and Durand.
They had a lot of background details that they wouldn't have had otherwise, but
exactly, especially with the tiara bullshit. For the love of God. That section was so long. Obviously, it came from Meghan and Harry.
Because they got smeared to high heaven for that.
I'm not questioning their reason for contributing. And none of that is against the rules or against the law. That's why they should have just said at the very beginning, of course we, loosely contributed here and there. We never gave a direct interview. They can just say, that's what Charles and Camilla have done with their biographies. Their so-called unauthorized biographies, too.
I understand why they did that. Basically, no matter what they say, they're going to get burned for it. So they tried to fudge a little bit. But yeah, they should have been a little more upfront. It doesn't matter now. And it doesn't matter what she says, they'll use it against her.
And it doesn't matter to the case. This is just screaming at them for the sake of screaming at them. The finding freedom doesn't have anything to do with the copyright of the letter to her father.
Yeah, it absolutely doesn't. And this is not the gotcha that they think it is.
I'm so tired of this story of what did they say to Scobie and Durand? What didn't they say? It doesn't matter. The book has been out for more than a year.
And it really isn't that bad either. Like, it doesn't...
Yeah, and it doesn't have anything to do with the fucking case.
So I just got to say, my neighbors are mowing again. Like, it seems like this is the exact time that they make the mowing really loud. Because it wasn't loud when we started talking, but now it's very loud. So Prince Harry did the Rewired Summit this week, and he went pretty hard, which is good. He talked about online misinformation and how to make social media platforms, more friendly to humans. And he also called the term Megxit misogynist and said, quote, "It was created by a troll and amplified by royal correspondents."
Which is true.
So, yeah. And then he even referenced that Bot Sentinel report that we talked about a couple weeks ago, where 70% of the hate speech against Meghan is from around 50 accounts. He's aware of that. And
he also talked about how he emails Jack Dorsey, and he warned Jack Dorsey that Twitter was platforming the plot for an insurrection. And that was like on January 5th.
I think Twitter, of all the social media platforms, Twitter is probably the best. I mean, maybe that's because I curate mine, so it's only liberal people. But Twitter seems like they're on top of a lot of that stuff.
I mean, in some ways, yes. There are a lot of Nazis on Twitter, but...
I mean, there's a lot of Nazis in general, but at least too many, right?
Yeah, Twitter is better than Facebook and Instagram. It probably has better controls for who gets to comment and how.
Yeah, you can just turn them off on Instagram. I've had to do that. I've had a few posts go mildly viral, like get over 1,000 likes. And unless I turn off the comments, it's just people, commenting with puke emojis and just being terrible against Meghan. So I just had to turn off the comments. The little montage I made of the picture of Harry and Meghan in black and white, and then the picture of the Cambridges in black and white at the
environmental conference. They're blatantly copy keening the Sussexes in a few different photos.
And that was something that an expert said.
Yeah.
So I put them together and did that, and people were like, no, they don't have a, it just got bad, so I just turned off the comments. But yeah, so I went on a tangent there. Instagram, it's all right. It's still owned by Facebook.
No, that's true. I always forget that.
And one thing Meghan said in the talk was that there's no dislike button on Instagram. So the only way that people can interact if they don't like something is to leave nasty comments. I mean, that's my words. She phrased it more elegantly than that. But yeah, Instagram is like, it's Instagram. It's still trash.
Yeah, I don't even update my Instagram anymore, but I do lurk on other people's.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't use it that much. I just use it for our job. So we got another report from Bot Sentinel this week that showed the royal reporters who interacted with the hate accounts. And we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Angela Levin was the top one, as everybody was guessing. And as Omid Scobie talked about, he said he had seen those. He tweeted that he had seen messages between a prominent royal reporter and a hate account. So, and then other ones were Richard Eden, Richard Fitzwilliams, and Richard Palmer. I guess the three dicks. I just noticed that.
Yeah. I actually follow Richard Palmer because he used to have better royal updates. Now he's a little bit twitchier. I think he gets attacked on both sides, as he should be.
Okay.
I don't follow the other people. I've never followed Angela Levin. She's always seemed like a fucking whack job. But yeah, like, there are crazy trolls. Like, the trolls know who their journalists are. They know who their friends are.
Yeah. These royal reporters are amplifying them.
Yeah.
And getting them more followers for whatever reason. And it's sketchy. It's super sketch. So this week, Meghan and Harry also went to the Salute to Freedom Gala, the Intrepid Valor Awards, and Harry gave those out. And this was the first red carpet we've seen them on, since pre-pandemic.
Yeah, since March 2020.
Yeah. Meghan had on a red taffeta Carolina Hererra gown. We didn't really like it that much.
Yeah, the top part just wasn't fitted properly. It wasn't tailored properly.
I just think it's the dress. I don't think that said it wasn't tailored. It's just that it had boob darts. Like that's,
Yeah, I mean, they were like reverse pleat boob darts. They were like fancy boob darts. Mm. And even the boob darts might have been better if it wasn't taffeta. And the taffeta probably would have looked better if the design had been different, et cetera, et cetera. But I think overall, the look was okay. And she looked very pretty in general.
Yeah, she looked good. I think what happened is that she saw the design for it and she's like, sure, you can make me that dress. And then when it came out, she was like, oh, okay, sure, I'll wear that dress,
Her strength is in minimalism. It's, bodycon, slender cut. I just wish that she would go more for that for evening wear.
I think she thought it was going to be a certain way. It turned out a different way. She just was gracious about it. That's what I assume, but who knows?
She tries that Audrey Hepburn thing, big skirted, sleek updo sort of look. Yeah. She's tried that a lot, and I'm not sure that's her best styling option.
I liked her wedding gown, like all the clean lines and everything.
Yeah, her wedding gown holds up. Whenever I use the wedding photos, her hair always annoys me. I wish she had chosen a different hairstyle on her wedding day. But yeah, the dress holds up. The veil holds up.
Yeah, the dress was lovely. So speaking of someone whose style does not hold up, Kate did an event this week. She went on vacation. She did like 2.5 events with William or whatever, 3. Or she did 2 and William did 3 at the climate change summit. And then we saw her again this week.
Yeah, so she had off for 10 days before the climate summit. And then she had off 9 days after the climate summit. And she was probably in England. She was probably either in Norfolk or London that time, those 9 days. We just didn't see her anywhere, which I still feel like some shit went down at the climate conference.
Yeah, I think she's separated from William and that they're not real happy to do events together. Or at least he's not happy,
She looked drunk. She was acting really weird. Everyone was ignoring her at the climate conference. There was such an awkward vibe, and then she disappears for 9 days. I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, she looked fine at the Imperial War Museum.
Yeah.
She looked well rested. I thought her hair looked pretty. Her clothes were a disaster, but whatever.
Wasn't that bad for her.
It's just a little nautical cosplay. Come on.
Yeah, not too bad. So I wanted to talk about this story where Biden farted in front of Camilla, the Duchess of, where's she from?
Cornwall.
Duchess of Cornwall at the climate change summit.
Well, I mean, we don't know if Biden actually farted in front of Camilla. We just know that she was telling everyone that he did.
Which, like, why would you do that? Like, even if the person farted in front of you, why would you be like, ha, that guy farted in front of me really loud? I mean, yeah, maybe you'd tell 1 or 2 people.
Yeah, like, I could see Camilla telling Charles, not telling everyone she met.
They made her sound like she was running her mouth about that for days.
They made her sound indiscreet, juvenile. Yeah, someone really wanted Camilla to look bad, and they weren't afraid to use Biden's name to do it.
So we talked about this we talked about this even longer than this clip. It was hilarious. So here's that.
Okay. What's up with Camilla in this farting story?
That's funny you mentioned Camilla. I was just going to say, who is behind the Camilla story? We're talking about Joe Biden farting in front of her.
It's been 3 days, 2-3 days.
Who benefits from this story? That's what I want to know. Who puts this out?
I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that because it makes her look terrible. terrible. First of all, it makes her look rude, but also the whole point is that you guys are supposed to be diplomatic and you're meeting a world leader and then you go around and tell people he farted. Even if it was true, shut the hell up. So what? He's human, so he farted. You live with Charles. You mean to tell me he don't fart 10, 15 times a day? Come on now.
I mean, how many little sausage fingers, like those hands, like something has to be wrong.
Gas is clearly trapped in that body.
Come on now.
In the fingers.
How many times they've dealt with people who had bad breath or body odor all the years that they've interacted with people? Come on.
How many people in that family have all of those issues that they deal with all the time? Come on. I mean, look at them. They all look dusty as hell.
It's weird that the story keeps continuing because it's such a bad look for Camilla and it doesn't make any sense. Like for it to go on for days and days. This is a terrible look.
Who leaked that? And I believe who leaked that was not someone from her camp. I think that was a William camp thing. But the problem is, how did William find out about that unless Camilla was opening her mouth?
So yeah, like Amira was saying, do you think it was William's camp?
No. Whenever something like that comes out, I just don't even think William even cares that much. Yeah. He wouldn't care enough to create this whole story about his stepmother. I don't think he gives a shit about that kind of thing. It sounds more like it was coming from someone on Charles' staff who hates Camilla. I think there's a lot of infighting within the Charles and Camilla staff and their foundation and all of that stuff. There was a story last week, I think, that Camilla was trying to get Michael Fawcett just completely blanked from the foundation and from Charles' life. I could see some of Charles' longtime workers, allies, saying, actually, here, Camilla, we're going to put you in your place.
Okay. So you think it's coming from his staff who don't like her because she's trying to pull rank on them?
Yeah, like there's a lot of weird shit going down between Charles, Camilla, and his staff and his charities. Like someone kept leaking all that shit about his charities and all the pay-to-play scandals and cash for access. Oh, and it was just story after story over the summer. Was that coming from Camilla? Was that
or one of her staffers? Maybe one of her staffers hates their staffers. Yeah, and this is a staffer thing.
Yeah, it could be. I think that's far more likely than, you know, Kensington Palace making some sort of power move and starting a rumor about Biden farting.
Poor Biden.
Poor Biden.
But like everybody was saying in the Zoom, like everybody farts. Like you think Charles doesn't fart? Come on.
And yeah, as I said in the post, like Biden eats a lot of ice cream. That makes me really farty.
If you eat enough, you get used to it. It doesn't make you fart as bad. Like I got real farty over Halloween because I was eating all this candy that I don't normally eat, you know? Giving it out, and that made me gassy.
Well, I'm mildly lactose intolerant anyway, so anytime I have anything like ice cream, anything like that, I'm like, ooh, oh, I feel so gassy.
That's why you eat that Greek yogurt. So I can eat ice cream because I eat it like every night, but yeah. All right, let's talk about the anti-vaxxers. So this week we had a lot of anti-vaxxers come out, and the main one was Aaron Rodgers, and this story is actually a little bit from last week. And he lied about being vaccinated. He said he was inoculated or something.
Immunized. He told the press that he was immunized, and there were no follow-up questions because everyone was like, okay, so he got vaccinated. And he was walking around maskless.
And he got COVID, too.
Yeah, and he got COVID. Then the House of Lies just came tumbling down.
So he, got all defensive. He said a woke mob was after him and that he did his research by talking to Joe Rogan and he took the horse dewormer. And then a source cried to People magazine that he was being crucified and we should respect his choice because he's an athlete. He knows his body. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that interview on the Pat McAfee show, it's like a football show.
Okay.
That interview was so fucking bonkers. An athlete who had been beloved, really well-respected, generally thought of as one of the more intelligent quarterbacks in the league.
I mean, he was the Jeopardy host for a while, too.
And, he was a leading candidate to replace, one of Alex Trebek's replacements. And like, he just destroyed all of that goodwill and his good image in one interview. That is, I mean,
he's probably going to be kind of sick too from COVID. I'm sure he got some high-end treatment, but still. He has a 4-year, $134 million contract. I mean, come on, you can't even get vaccinated for that amount of money. Like, I would get vaccinated for $30 for free. I would pay them. I mean, come on. So he finally made a, quote, apology, but it was one of those sorry if you were offended apologies. And then he defended himself again in his apology.
Well, he didn't apologize. He just said, I take full responsibility, but yeah, I still believe everything that I said previously.
Yeah. Gosh.
He's an idiot.
He really is. And then Shailene Woodley is right there with him. Like, they're so perfect for each other. She eats dirt and shit, you know? She does. She's not vaccinated either, you know it.
I know. That's what I kept thinking is like, who is telling him that saying all this shit is a good idea? And then Shailene is piping in, well, he's got a big dick, you know?
She didn't say he had a big dick. She said the picture of him getting coffee where it was like a guy in a mask allegedly breaking his quarantine couldn't have been him because his feet are bigger than that. So everyone's like, Jesus, don't tell us that.
And I mean, why was she entering the chat? Like, there's no reason. She should have just kept her mouth shut and been like, babe, you created this problem, you solve it.
You know that she's not vaccinated either because she's like that.
Yep.
So another guy who's NAS is, we already knew this about him, but Matthew McConaughey. He said he's against mandating COVID vaccines for children. He seemed to suggest that his kids are not vaccinated. He said in that, what's it called again? The book?
Deal book.
Okay, so he was in the deal book talk for something else. And he said, quote, I couldn't mandate having to vaccinate the younger kids. I still want to find out more information. Ugh. Right now, I'm not vaccinating mine. I'll tell you that.
And it's just like he's playing footsie with the anti-vaxxers. And I don't get his play here. And it was the same thing when he was trying to do that with anti-choice, with abortion rights.
Yeah.
He said the law couldn't be implemented the right way or something about the implementation. It's not the implementation. It's about abortion rights. It's about reproductive freedom. And it's the same thing here with the vaccines. Either you believe in the vaccines or you don't. Either you believe in medicine or you don't. Just be clear.
So then he tried to clarify that in Instagram. He said he was misrepresented, that he's not against vaccines for children. He's just against mandates for 5 to 11-year-olds. And then he's got a son, Levi, who's 13, and he said he's vaccinated against COVID.
Right.
So he has that daughter, Vita, she's 11, and a son, Livingston, 8. I just realized he named his son Livingston, just keep living, you know?
I know.
That's so dumb. I didn't realize that until I looked this up. I was like, Jesus.
And Vita means life.
Yeah, that's cute, but come on, Livingston. Oh, just keep, I can't believe he doesn't have a kid named JK then.
Yeah.
He's so dumb. I hope he doesn't run for governor of Texas.
I think he is. I think that's what all of this bullshit is. He's dipping his toe in culture wars, and he's trying to talk out of both sides of his mouth.
If they get another Republican candidate, though, will that just split the vote? That'd be cool.
No, because I don't think Republicans, Republican Party elders of Texas will even take him seriously enough to give him money or treat his candidacy with any seriousness.
No, what I'm saying, if he runs as an independent or some shit, he's just going to take votes away from the stupid Republicans.
No, if he runs as an independent, he would take votes away from Democrats.
No, he wouldn't.
He would. Come on, thousands of people voted for Kanye.
Thousands. That's not very many. All right, so other people who are anti-vaxxers, Emilio Estevez got fired for the Mighty Ducks series because he wouldn't get vaccinated. And Hecate covered that. And he issued this wordy statement saying he's not anti-vax, he had long COVID, he's still recovering, but he never said he got vaccinated.
The way I took his statement was that he wasn't doing the series because he had long COVID.
No, he was explaining why he's not vaccinated.
All right.
Basically saying he had it already, I think. And then General Hospital's Ingo Rademacher, he's terrible. He sounded like Gina Carano. He's just a jerk. Because he was anti-trans, too. He posted an anti-trans meme, but he's also, a medical freedom idiot. He was on General Hospital for 25 years, and they're not renewing him because he won't get vaccinated.
You know, we haven't heard anything from Doots and Crows, the model who was like, I'm so scared to admit that I'm anti-vaccine.
Oh, the Dutch model? Yeah. You used to like her. That's too bad.
Yeah, she's so pretty. She was one of my favorite models, and she's a fucking idiot. Oh, my God.
I'm disappointed. This is a totally different side thing. I'm disappointed in Dakota Johnson because I really liked her before she like hemmed and hawed on the Me Too issue. And, you know,
oh, yeah.
A lot of people disappoint me once I learn more about them. But yeah, Doots and Crows. Yeah, she's a dumbass. Like, I bet she got sick at some point.
Yeah, I did not know she was that stupid. I really didn't.
And all these people who are like, why doesn't anybody consider my choice? Your choice is going to kill people. And if it doesn't kill you and you spread it to other people,
And Doutzen and so many of these anti-vaxxers, they have total fucking martyr complexes about it, too.
They're acting like they're discriminating against you, bigoted towards me. You made a choice, dumbass. Yeah, they're terrible. All right, let's move on to the comments of the week. So my comment of the week is from Mia 4S on the post about Paul Rudd being the sexiest man alive. Everybody loved your title because you called him ageless vampire, Paul Rudd.
But seriously, the man has looked the same for like 30 years.
52. He's so handsome. He's kind of boring. Like, he's not sexy, but he's a good dude. Like, you root for him, right?
Like, you never hear anything bad about him at all. I was going to compare him to Jason Bateman, but like, even Jason Bateman has stories about how he's sort of a dick.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd has none of those stories. Everyone loves him. He treats everyone with respect. He seems like a really good guy.
He does. That's the secret to how he stays looking so young. He's like Keanu. So Mia 4S said, this makes so much sense. Ghostbusters is out next week, and it's super rare to see this without a project to promote. Because yes, to the select few Evans fans who decided to lose their minds on Twitter, it's just a publicity and marketing tool. It's not actually an honor, quote. Paul knows that, and so does Evans. So we heard from Page 6 that Chris Evans was going to be the sexiest man alive. A lot of people think, we were talking about this on Zoom, I didn't excerpt it, but a lot of people think that people leaked that so that there would get more buzz around the sexiest man alive, and then they could be like, no, haha, it's this other guy.
That could be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past people, and I wouldn't put it past Page 6 to fall for it. Like, Page 6 was practically gleeful that they could spoil that for People magazine. So I do think it's funny that People was like, they didn't say anything about it the week before when Page 6 had the scoop, and then they're like, haha, here we go, Paul Rudd. Yeah, that is pretty good.
That was cool.
Like, usually it's just a promotional tool, the sexiest man alive, but mostly, even more than that, they just want someone who will agree to be interviewed.
Yeah, promote it.
And I'm not sure Chris Evans would have agreed to be interviewed. That's what surprised me about that.
That's a good point, yeah.
My comment of the week was from the post about Ivy Getty's wedding, her like crazy excessive San Francisco wedding. I'd never heard of this girl before. She's one of those Gettys from the, famous billionaire Getty
Super
family.
Rich, yeah.
And she's, the granddaughter of blah, blah, blah Getty. So she's very pretty. She's 26 years old. I guess she's a model. That's what I was assuming. She married a photographer, and the wedding was just absolutely bonkers. And Tiffany wrote, this is a whole lot of extra for a starter wedding. Here's hoping she takes it down a notch for the next one. And yeah, it was excessive for someone who got married at 26 and thinks it's going to last forever. And she thinks it's a miracle that she got married. Like, girl, you're 26, you're pretty, you're rich. Why is it a miracle that you're getting married to just some guy?
No, it's not a miracle. So her dress was made out of like mirror shards. They had a ton of people there. Anya Taylor-Joy is like one of her good friends and was one of the bridesmaids. Not that that's excessive. It's not. It's just her friend.
Yeah, Speaker Pelosi officiated the wedding. Governor Newsom came to the wedding.
Okay.
They like had 4 full days of partying. They had IV drips. It was ridiculous.
Maybe because of her name. That's why she likes them. I would have gone if I got invited. I would not go to all the partying. I would go to like 1 or 2 things. I could not deal with 4 days of partying with people.
Yeah, like, who has time for that?
Nobody.
But the reception was at the famous Getty Mansion, so I would have gone to that. I would want to see the Getty Mansion.
You'd like sneak around, acting like you're looking for the bathroom, but you're really like looking in all guest rooms.
It's probably haunted though.
Yeah, so that's cool. All right, well, thanks for listening, bitches.
Thanks, bitches.
Thank you for listening to the Celebrity Podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you like us, please turn off your ad blocker when you visit our site. You can text us or leave a voicemail at 434-218-3219. Our music is from AA Alto, Maiden, and via Premium Beat and Sound of Picture. Thanks again.
I'm not going to say it.
Okay, I'm not saying it either. I forgot.